Close your eyes and imagine New York nearly 3 centuries before it became one of the world's greatest cities. There are no skyscrapers reaching into the clouds, no bridges connecting boroughs, and no endless lines of yellow taxis. Instead, Manhattan is a small colonial settlement clustered around the southern tip of the island. Fewer than 12,000 people live here. Narrow dirt roads weave between wooden homes, church bells echo through the streets, and merchant ships crowd the busy harbor. It looks peaceful, but beneath the surface, fear is everywhere. Almost every building is made of wood. Homes stand so close together that a single fire could spread through entire neighborhoods within hours. Every family keeps buckets ready, knowing that one careless ember from a fireplace could destroy everything they own. Yet fire is not the only thing frightening the people of New York. The colony is deeply divided. Nearly 1 in every 5 residents is enslaved. Unlike many northern colonies that relied mostly on small farms, New York depends heavily on enslaved labor. Enslaved Africans work on docks, build roads, carry cargo, cook meals, clean wealthy homes, and help construct the growing city. Despite their importance to the colony, they possess almost no freedom. Colonial authorities impose strict laws to prevent rebellion. Enslaved people cannot gather in large groups without permission. They cannot carry weapons. Many are forbidden from traveling after dark. Officials constantly worry that one day the enslaved population might rise against them. Those fears are not imaginary. Only a few years earlier, news had reached New York about violent slave revolts in the Caribbean, where enslaved people fought back against plantation owners. Stories of burned plantations and murdered colonists spread quickly across the Atlantic, terrifying slave owners throughout Britain as American colonies. Many wealthy citizens begin sleeping with loaded muskets beside their beds. They are preparing for an enemy they cannot see. Then, on the morning of March 18, 1741, smoke rises above Fort George. The governor's residence sits at the southern end of Manhattan, overlooking New York Harbor. It serves as the center of colonial government, housing soldiers, government offices, valuable records, and supplies. Suddenly flames burst through the roof. Strong winds feed the fire. Within hours, much of the fort lies in ruins. At first, no one believes anything unusual has happened. Fires are common in colonial towns. Wooden buildings, open fireplaces, candles, and kitchens create constant danger. People mourn their losses, then they begin rebuilding. But only a few days later, another fire breaks out. Soon another follows. Then another. Within weeks, fires erupt across barns, warehouses, homes, and businesses throughout the city. Some begin late at night, others appear during the middle of the day. Every new blaze fuels growing panic. People stop believing in coincidence. Someone, they insist, must be setting the fires. Rumors spread through taverns, marketplaces, and churches faster than the flames themselves. Some claim foreign enemies are secretly attacking New York. Others whisper that Catholic agents from Spain are planning to destroy the colony. But one rumor spreads more quickly than all the others. The enslaved population is preparing an uprising. Fear changes the way people see the world. Every conversation sounds suspicious. Every gathering appears threatening. Every unfamiliar face becomes a possible enemy. Colonial officials feel enormous pressure to find those responsible before panic turns into complete chaos. The investigation begins with little evidence. Witnesses offer conflicting stories. Some claim they saw strangers running through the streets before fires began. Others insist they heard secret meetings taking place after dark. Very few facts exist, yet accusations continue multiplying. The investigation eventually focuses on a small tavern owned by a man named John Hughson. Hughson is already unpopular. Unlike many respectable citizens, he allows poor laborers, sailors, indentured servants, and enslaved people to drink together beneath the same roof. Colonial authorities dislike the tavern because people from different backgrounds gather there freely. To nervous officials, that alone seems suspicious. When investigators search Hughson's property, they discover almost nothing linking him to the fires, but they refuse to abandon the case. Instead, they begin questioning everyone connected to the tavern. Among them is a frightened young servant named Mary Burton. She is only 16 years old. At first, Mary tells investigators she knows nothing. She insists she never witnessed secret meetings. She denies hearing anyone discuss burning the city. Her answers disappoint the authorities. They continue questioning her. Again and again, days turn into weeks. Officials make promises. If she cooperates, they say, she may receive her freedom. If she refuses, she could remain under suspicion herself. The pressure becomes overwhelming. Finally, Mary's story changes. She now claims that enslaved men gathered regularly inside Hughson's tavern. According to her new testimony, they planned to burn New York. murder white residents, steal weapons, and establish their own government. She also accuses Hughson, his wife Sarah, and their daughter of helping organize the conspiracy. For investigators desperate for answers, Mary's statement changes everything. They finally have a witness. Whether she is telling the truth no longer seems important. They have a story the frightened public is willing to believe. Arrests begin almost immediately. Enslaved workers disappear from streets and homes. Ships arriving in the harbor bring more rumors than cargo. Neighbors begin accusing neighbors. No one knows whom to trust anymore. As prisoners fill the city jail, investigators discover a powerful new method of gathering evidence. Offer mercy, demand names. Anyone willing to confess receives the possibility of a lighter sentence. Anyone refusing faces execution. The result is entirely predictable. Some prisoners begin naming other people simply to save themselves. Each confession produces new suspects. Those suspects name even more people. The investigation grows larger every week. Soon, the alleged conspiracy seems limitless. Entire neighborhoods begin living in fear. Parents keep children indoors. Businesses close early. Churches fill with frightened worshippers praying that the nightmare will end. But it is only beginning. The city jail quickly became overcrowded. Men and women accused of taking part in the supposed conspiracy were packed into small, filthy cells where fear spread almost as fast as the fires themselves. Few of the prisoners understood exactly what they had been accused of. Some had simply visited John Hugson's tavern. Others had spoken with someone already under suspicion. In many cases, that was enough to destroy a person's life. The colonial government believed it was uncovering a massive plot. In reality, it was creating one. The authorities relied almost entirely on testimony rather than physical evidence. Every new witness seemed to tell a bigger story than the last. Prisoners were encouraged to confess and identify others in exchange for mercy. Those who refused often faced the harshest punishment. Before long, accusations reached every corner of New York. Blacksmiths, dock workers, servants, laborers, even respected white citizens suddenly found themselves under suspicion. The investigation had taken on a life of its own. At the center of everything remained Mary Burton. Only weeks earlier she had insisted she knew nothing. Now she appeared in courtroom after courtroom, describing secret meetings, whispered conversations, and elaborate plans to burn the city. Each time she testified, her story seemed to grow larger. According to Burton, enslaved men planned to set fires throughout Manhattan while white colonists rushed to extinguish the flames. During the confusion, the conspirators would seize weapons, kill wealthy citizens, and declare themselves free. It sounded terrifying. It also sounded exactly like the nightmare many colonists already believed was possible. The judges rarely questioned her testimony. Instead, they accepted it as the foundation of nearly every case. The trials moved quickly. Modern courts require physical evidence, defense attorneys, and strict legal procedures. Colonial New York worked very differently. Many defendants had almost no opportunity to defend themselves. Rumors became evidence. Hearsay became testimony. Fear replaced reason. One after another, verdicts of guilty were announced. Executions soon followed. Some prisoners were hanged in public, while others were burned alive at the stake, a punishment intended to terrify anyone who might be considering rebellion. Crowds gathered to watch. For many spectators, these executions were seen as necessary acts of justice. For others, they were horrifying displays of panic and cruelty. One of the most famous defendants was John Hughson himself. Prosecutors claimed his tavern served as the headquarters of the conspiracy. They argued that Hughson welcomed enslaved people into his establishment, encouraged criminal activity, and helped organize the planned uprising. Hughson denied everything. He insisted he had committed no crime. His wife Sarah also refused to confess. Neither changed their story. Even after weeks in prison, it made no difference. Both were found guilty. John Hughson was hanged, and afterward his body was displayed in chains for months as a warning to others. His wife met a similarly grim fate. Their family was erased from New York society almost overnight. As spring turned into summer, the executions continued. By the time the trials finally ended, 34 people had been executed. More than 70 others were deported to the Caribbean, where many were sold into even harsher slavery on sugar plantations. For a city with fewer than 12,000 residents, the scale of the punishment was extraordinary. Entire communities had been torn apart, families disappeared, friendships ended, trust collapsed, yet something strange began happening. The accusations became increasingly unbelievable. Witnesses started naming people from higher levels of society. Some even suggested that wealthy merchants and respected officials were secretly involved in the conspiracy. For the first time, judges began asking uncomfortable questions. Had they gone too far? Was there really A vast plot, or had panic created one where none existed? Slowly, the investigations lost momentum, the arrests stopped, the executions ended. Without any official announcement, the crisis simply faded away. Life returned to normal, but the scars remained. Mary Burton, whose testimony had helped convict dozens of people, received exactly what investigators had promised. She was granted her freedom. She also received a substantial financial reward for assisting the prosecution. Then she disappeared. Historians have searched for records of her later life but found almost nothing. No marriage records, no property ownership, no confirmed date of death. The young woman whose words changed the fate of an entire city simply vanished from history. Nearly 3 centuries later, scholars continue debating what really happened in New York during the spring and summer of 1741. Some historians believe there may have been a small group of enslaved people discussing resistance. Given the brutal realities of slavery, the idea is certainly possible. Rebellions had already occurred elsewhere in the Atlantic world, and enslaved communities often dreamed of freedom. Others argue that there was never any organized conspiracy at all. Instead, they believe a series of accidental fires triggered widespread panic in a society already consumed by racial fear and political anxiety. Once investigators became convinced a conspiracy existed, every rumor appeared to confirm it. Every accusation produced another suspect. Every confession encouraged another confession. It became a cycle that fed itself. Many modern historians compare the New York conspiracy to the famous Salem witch trials that took place almost 50 years earlier. In both cases, fear spread faster than facts. Weak evidence was accepted as proof. Witnesses changed their stories. Communities turned against themselves, and innocent people paid the ultimate price. The New York conspiracy also revealed something deeper about colonial America. It exposed how fragile society really was. The colony depended heavily on enslaved labor while constantly fearing the people whose work kept the economy alive. That contradiction created an atmosphere where suspicion could flourish. A few unexplained fires, a frightened teenage witness, a government desperate for answers. That was all it took to send dozens of people to their deaths. Today, visitors walking through Lower Manhattan see towering skyscrapers, crowded sidewalks, and busy financial districts. Almost nothing remains of the small colonial town that once stood there. Yet beneath the modern streets lies the memory of one of America's least known miscarriages of justice. Unlike famous historical events that are remembered in every classroom, the New York conspiracy of 1741 is often overlooked. Perhaps because no one can say with certainty what truly happened. Was there really a carefully planned slave uprising waiting to erupt? Or were innocent people condemned because fear proved stronger than evidence? The truth may never be known. But the story remains a powerful reminder that, in times of panic, rumors can become facts, suspicion can replace justice, and entire societies can convince themselves that imaginary enemies are real. Sometimes, the most dangerous fire is not the one that burns buildings. It is the one that spreads through people's minds.